Have you ever found yourself imagining how it would be possible to achieve financial freedom, but always end up paralyzed by the fear of debt? What if I told you that debt, when used well, can be the path to wealth? Yes, you heard right. According to Robert Kiyosaki, author of the best-selling Rich Dad, Poor Dad, rich people don't run away from debt. They use it strategically to build fortunes. Maybe you've heard that debt is bad, or that debt only brings problems. But what few people understand is that there is a crucial difference between debts that make you poor and debts that can literally make you prosper. If you've tried everything to improve your financial situation, but still feel like something is stopping you from moving forward, perhaps it's because you haven't discovered the power of good debts. In this video, we will explore how Kiyosaki uses debt intelligently to create businesses, acquire properties, and increases wealth. I'll show you how to apply the same strategy to your life, regardless of where you are now. If you are tired of just appearing financially stable and really want to achieve wealth, this is the path that can transform your relationship with money and lead you to financial freedom. Stay until the end of the video and get ready to change your mindset about debt and discover how it can be the first step towards your first million. But first, make sure you've already subscribed to the channel and turned on notifications so you don't miss our content. Have you ever stopped to think that debts, instead of being a burden, can be the stepping stone to your financial independence? Robert Kiyosaki, famous author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, challenges the common view that we should avoid debt at all costs. According to him, the secret is not in avoiding debts, but in using them correctly. The question is, how do you differentiate between bad debt and good debt? Many people go into debt to buy things that only bring expenses, a new car, a bigger house, or even that dream trip. The problem is that these expenses over time only take money out of your pocket. These are the debts that Kiyosaki calls bad, because instead of helping you grow financially, they trap you in a cycle of endless payments and interest. Now, imagine a debt that works in your favor. This is what Kiyosaki calls good debt. This type of debt is taken out to acquire assets that generate income. That is, things that put money in your pocket in the long term. Think, for example, about taking out a loan to buy a property that you can rent. The rent paid by the tenants not only covers the loan installment, but in the end, the property will be completely yours, in addition to continuing to generate income. This is the mentality that Kiyosaki suggests you adopt. Using other people's money banks to acquire assets that generate more money. It sounds simple, but the crucial point is understanding how to do it responsibly. Sure, taking on debt without a plan can be dangerous, but when you have a clear goal and the right strategy, it can be the key to building solid wealth. What Kiyosaki teaches us is that the fear of debt often prevents us from taking advantage of great opportunities. Instead of seeing debt as an enemy, see it as a tool to leverage your investments and achieve your financial dreams. By understanding this difference, you can start planning your finances more intelligently and, who knows, take the first step towards becoming a millionaire. When you take out financing to buy a new car or a bigger house to live in, these assets can seem like an investment. However, they are not generating financial returns. The car will depreciate in value as soon as you take it from the dealership, and will also require maintenance, insurance, and taxes. The house, on the other hand, if it is for you to live in, may increase in value over time, but it is not generating income while you live in it. These are classic examples of bad debt. They end up sucking your money month after month. Now, think about good debt. These are those contracted with the aim of acquiring something that will generate a financial return. Imagine you take out a loan to open a small business or buy a rental property. In this case, the debt is not impoverishing you. On the contrary, it is helping you generate a source of income. The money you earn from this investment can cover the cost of debt and also generate a profit for you. The key here is to change the way you view debt. Instead of just thinking about interest and monthly payments, think about what that debt can provide you in the long term. If you take on debt that will help you generate more money in the future, such as financing a business or purchasing a rental property, This debt can be the basis of your financial prosperity. But pay attention. Even good debts need to be well planned. There is no point in taking out a loan without being sure that the investment will be able to generate enough returns to cover the costs. This is where the importance of having a clear strategy and making accurate calculations comes in before making any decision. Kiyosaki teaches us that the secret to financial success is knowing how to use debt to your advantage. When you understand this difference between bad and good debt, you start to see the opportunities rather than just the risks. Remember, debt itself is not the problem. What matters is how you use it. So, if you know how to use good debt strategically, you could be on the right path to getting rich. Did you know that it is possible to use other people's money to build your own wealth? Robert Kiyosaki and his wife, Kim, are living examples of how this works in practice. Instead of putting together years and years of savings to buy real estate or start a business, they figured out how to use bank loans smartly to achieve financial success. And best of all, they didn't have to use a lot of their own money to do it. Kiyosaki says that he and Kim started out taking out loans to buy real estate, but they were properties to live in. They focus on properties that generate income. For example, when buying an apartment to rent, they used the bank's money to finance it. And what happened afterwards? The money they received from the tenants was enough to pay the loan installments, and there was still a portion left for them. In other words, the property paid for itself and they still made a profit. Now, imagine you do the same. Instead of using all your capital to buy a property in cash, you use a loan. The rent you receive covers the financing installments and, in the end, the property ends up being yours. This is the type of strategy that Kiyosaki and Kim have used multiple times to build a portfolio of properties and businesses. And the secret is finding investments that generate enough income to cover the cost of the loan and still leave a positive balance. One of the examples Kiyosaki loves to share is his wife, Kim. When she made her first big real estate investment, she only used a small amount of her own money. She bought a property worth $25,000, but only paid $5,000 out of her own pocket. The rest was financed by the bank, who paid the financing installments, the tenant, and after a few years, the property was fully paid off and generating a profit. The most interesting thing is that, during this process, Kim practically didn't use more than that initial $5,000. This type of strategy is one of the reasons why Kiyosaki and Kim were able to expand their investments quickly. They didn't wait to save money to buy everything in cash. Instead, they used loans intelligently, always ensuring that the chosen investment generated enough income to cover debts and still make a profit. This allowed them to acquire more properties and businesses in a much shorter period of time than if they had done it all with their own resources. So how can you apply this to your life? The lesson here is that instead of being afraid of loans, you can use them as a tool to accelerate your financial growth. Of course, this requires planning and a good dose of caution. It is important to choose investments that can really generate income and cover loan costs. But with the right strategy, you can do like Kiyosaki and Kim. Use other people's money to build your wealth and achieve financial freedom without having to wait years to raise the necessary capital. That's the power of using finance as an ally. It's not about taking on debt in any way, but about doing it intelligently, always thinking about the return that loan will bring. When used well, credit can be the key to acquiring more assets and, over time, achieving the financial independence that so many seek. When we talk about using debt to invest, it seems like a brilliant strategy, doesn't it? And it really can be. But Robert Kiyosaki always leaves an important warning. Despite the great benefits that this practice can bring, there are risks, especially when the economic scenario is not well understood. In the United States, for example, interest rates tend to be very high, and this can turn good debt into a serious problem if it is not well managed. Imagine the following. You decide to take out a loan to buy a property or open a business, betting that the income will cover the payments and generate a profit. This makes perfect sense, right? But what happens if interest rates suddenly rise or your business doesn't deliver the expected returns? Debt that seemed like a tool for financial growth can become a snowball, increasingly difficult to pay. Kiyosaki is clear that before getting into any type of debt, you need to understand market conditions very well. If interest rates are high, the cost of your loan will be higher. This means that you will need an even higher return on your investment for it to really be worth it. And this is one of the points he always reinforces. Investing with borrowed money is not a move for beginners or for those who are still learning about finance. Additionally, the business environment in the U.S. can be particularly challenging for those unfamiliar with the system. Competition is fierce, and there are many variables that can impact the success of an investment. Kiyosaki mentions that it is necessary to study the market very well before committing to large debts. This includes understanding fluctuations in the economy, the behavior of the real estate market, and even the legal issues involved in the process of buying and selling properties or establishing companies. If you are thinking about following this path, the first step is to educate yourself financially. Kiyosaki always talks about the importance of learning about finances, taxes, and investment strategies before making any decisions. Additionally, he suggests you start small, testing the waters before committing to larger debts. This way, you gain experience and better understand how economic cycles and investment opportunities work. Another important point that Kiyosaki highlights is the need to work with a good team of financial advisors, lawyers, and accountants. They are essential to help analyze the viability of investments and ensure that market conditions are favorable before taking on debt. Finally, he reminds us that although it is possible to get rich using debt, you need to be prepared for the risks. Financial education is the main shield against bad decisions. The more you understand the market and your own investments, the less likely you are to fall into financial traps. So yes, debt can be a powerful tool for building wealth, but only if you're truly prepared to deal with the challenges that come along with it. The lesson that Kiyosaki teaches us is clear. Before taking on debt, ask yourself if you are prepared for possible difficulties. If market conditions change, will your investment still be viable? If the answer is yes, then you might be on the right track. If the answer is no, it is best to reconsider or look for other alternatives to achieve your financial goals. Have you ever stopped to think about how the rich use bank money to increase their fortunes? It may seem contradictory, but they are not afraid of getting into debt. The big difference is that they know how to use these debts to their advantage. They make money work for them. Imagine that you are a businessman and have the opportunity to buy a machine that can double your business's production. Even if you don't have all the money up front, you can take out a loan to purchase this machine. And what happens? The machine increases your production so much that the extra profits generated by it are more than enough to pay the loan, the interest, and still leave money in your pocket. This is the type of strategy that rich people use all the time. Now think about the real estate market. Another common strategy among the rich is to use debt to finance large real estate projects. An investor can purchase land and, instead of building with his own money, he uses financing to build a village of houses or commercial space. Over time, these properties are rented or sold, and the profit obtained not only covers the debt amount, but also provides a significant financial return. And so, the cycle repeats itself, with the investor acquiring more properties and expanding their portfolio. The key point here is to understand that debt, when used intelligently, can be a great ally for financial growth. The secret is to ensure that the money borrowed is used for something that brings a return. A rented property, a machine that increases production, or a real estate project with potential for appreciation are examples of how debts can be transformed into enrichment tools. So when you see someone rich taking on debt, don't think they are putting themselves at risk. On the contrary, they are using these debts strategically, knowing that the income generated by their investments will be more than enough to cover the interest and charges. And most importantly, these investments continue to generate income even after the debt has been paid off. If you want to follow this path, the most important thing is to plan. Understand where the money will be invested. Calculate the expected return and make sure that the income generated will be sufficient to cover the financing costs. When done well, this strategy can be one of the most effective ways to grow financially and build solid wealth. After all, the rich know that the right debt, applied at the right time, can be the engine that propels their wealth to the next level. We've reached the end of this video, and I hope you understand the power that debt can have when used strategically and intelligently. Robert Kiyosaki shows us that debt, so feared by many, can be the key to building a true fortune as long as it is invested in investments that generate income. The difference between good and bad debt is crucial in determining whether you will get rich or sink financially. While many are stuck thinking that avoiding debt is the best path, Kiyosaki and his wife, Kim, teach us that taking out loans to acquire assets can be the secret to transforming your financial reality. Whether it's buying real estate, investing in businesses, or even expanding your operations, debt can be a powerful tool for growth. However, it is important to remember the risks involved, especially in environments where interest rates are high, such as in the U.S. The secret lies in planning, financial education, and using these resources wisely. Now that you know these strategies, it's time to reflect on how you can apply them in your life. Be aware of opportunities, and always do your calculations before taking on any debt. Remember, when used correctly, debt can be your ally in achieving the financial freedom you dream of. If you like this content and want to continue learning more about how to build wealth, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave a like and share this video with other people who also want to change their financial lives. And of course, tell me in the comments what you think and how you intend to use these tips on your own path towards success. Until the next video,